And we're live. Good evening and welcome to episode 34 of the Vegan Hour. I'm joined tonight by Brad King from Farm Animal Rescue. Thank you, Brad.
Pleasure.
Thank you for being here. This is, what is it? I've forgotten what day. It's October the 3rd. Oh, this is almost auspicious. There's lots of wonderful people having birthdays this week.
There is.
There is. There might even be some people in this room having. I can see people coming online, which is excellent. Now, let's just see how we're looking up here on the browser. Make sure that everything's looking fine. Okay, we are looking pretty good there. Excellent. Okay, we'll just go in there. Okay, guys, now I want to mention a few events as we're coming online. And tonight, Brad's going to be telling us about Farm Animal Rescue for people that aren't familiar with it. And even if you are familiar with it, we're going to be talking about what's involved. We're going to be talking about, as I said in the promo photo, the trials and tribulations of rescuing animals. So, this Saturday, the 7th of October, there's a couple of events coming up. There's a big one in Brisbane from 10 a.m. Sea Shepherd is having their 40th, actually I just remembered, 40th anniversary. They're having their 40th anniversary. So that's going to be a big one because it's got rides, it's got guest speaker, one of the head guys from Sea Shepherd is going to be talking. His name escapes me, sorry about that. There's rides, there's vegan food, there's music, there's market stalls. So that's from 10 a.m. On Saturday. Also from 12 noon, I have a Vegan Life lunch here on the Gold Coast at Mermaid Beach. And we've got comments coming in already, coming up on the screen there. We've got a hello from Jean. Apparently I'm a busy guy. I think this guy's even busier. And Katie says, good evening. Thank you for your comments, guys. So yeah, this Saturday there's the Vegan Life lunch at Tian Run at 12 o'clock. This Sunday, the big one, on the poster behind me there where it says a Froth Fest. We've been talking about this for months. That's this Sunday starting at 12 noon at Miami Marquetta. That's the big one. The tickets are only $10 and you are actually supporting Sugarshine Farm Sanctuary and Save a Cow Sanctuary, and you've got the opportunity not only to support them with the purchase of your tickets, but you've also got the opportunity to win 4 nights accommodation at Angori Resort, just over the border. So that should be pretty good. And also a surfboard and bikinis and vegan frothers clothing. And there's also going to be giveaways. The whole Miami Marquetta goes vegan. So all the food is vegan, all the music's vegan. Everything will be vegan, so that's where you want to be this Sunday. So, okay, and great to see people commenting there. Kelly says, love to you both. Carol says, hi guys. Lindsay says, hi guys. Wonderful. Excellent. Okay, we're off and running. So I think that's the main things I wanted to mention. So, okay, now, I know a lot of people are going to know who Brad is, but in case you don't know who Brad is and who Farm Animal Rescue is, let's set the foundation here and let's start at the beginning. Okay, so I want to find out a little bit about the history. Can we start with the history of Farm Animal Rescue?
Sure.
Yeah, great. Okay, I believe it started 5 years ago.
It did start 5 years ago.
Yeah.
In fact, we've got our big 5th year anniversary bash coming up.
Yes,
on
when?
4th of November.
4th of November.
Yeah.
And what actually is that going to be? That's a ball or something? A gala ball?
It's a gala and ball.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
excellent.
so it's tuxedos and
Tuxedos?
party gowns and all that sort of
Oh
thing.
my goodness,
Yeah.
I've never been in one. I wonder what that would look like. Actually, where is that going to be at?
The Grand Chancellor in Brisbane.
Sounds very swish.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, we had a lot of feedback that people
Yeah.
wanted a swish thing that
Yes.
they could really dress up for.
That's cool.
We thought
Yeah.
5 years was worth celebrating.
Definitely.
So we're doing all the nice things like, we've got some fabulous vegan artists that have donated art pieces, so we'll be having a silent auction.
Great.
With all that going on, we've got some awards and that are going out to some of our volunteers.
Nice.
Nice. So it's just a celebration really of the fact of what we've achieved over the last 5 years.
That is fantastic.
And a bit of a thank you for so many people have supported us to get there.
And if somebody wants to go along, what's the best way to? I can put a link up later in any case.
Yeah, look, through our website. It's probably the first thing that comes up on the page at the moment.
Okay. So
yes, and
go to farmanimalrescue.org.au. Yep. And also be it on your Facebook page too, wouldn't it?
It'll be available through events on Facebook.
Yeah.
And early booker tickets close tomorrow night.
Really? Early booking tickets close tomorrow night.
That's right.
Okay, right. So
you get in cheap and dirty.
You want
tomorrow.
You want to get in. You want to get in fast on that one. I will put a link for the event after tonight's show. I'll put a link up there, unless somebody wants to find it and put one up there for me now. If somebody's watching, and maybe they'll be. Brad is a koala in a jumper. That's an interesting comment. Well, Sonia, you're out there with your comments. I got to say. And Tracy says, where can we get the tickets? Is it through Ticket Tech or? Is it?
It's literally through the website. So
it's just through the
website.
website.
Go onto the website,
okay.
go into the events there. Sorry, I moved down a frame.
Yeah, you're probably yes. Yeah, where are you going, Brad? Yeah, come back. Show's not over yet.
Yeah, so just through the website, the booking screen is actually right on the page.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I could even probably try and type that in now as we're talking. If we see if we can get the website to come up, www.farmanimalrescue.org.au, wasn't it?
That's where you're much cleverer than I am.
I can't even do one thing at once. But anyway, hopefully that's the correct link that's come up there. So that's definitely worth celebrating. 5 years.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's 5 years. It probably feels a lot longer than 5 years.
5
years of hard work.
In some ways, and in some ways, of course, it's gone very, very fast.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at some things that we've gone to, and just the change in the organisation from where we started out.
So can we talk a little bit about that? Maybe the way it's sort of changed direction, maybe, or it's grown a certain way since you've started. I mean, what were the early days like?
Yeah, look, our direction was pretty much on track.
Okay.
I make no secret of the fact that I'm a huge fan of Farm Sanctuary, which is the US-based sanctuary organisation.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And what I was very appreciative of there is the educational aspects they have with the way the sanctuaries they operate.
Yes.
And that is very much a model that we wanted to create here in Australia.
And that's what you have when you do the farm tours?
Yeah. So look, we've established it to sort of work throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
We like a number of other people now are of course out on the streets.
Yes.
That's the starting point of it. So we have a pay-per-view program, which is we'll pay you $2 to watch this 4-minute video.
You've been doing that in Brisbane, haven't you?
We do that in Brisbane, that's right.
Yeah.
But of course, there's the DXE guys, there's the, I'm going to screw up the names of them now, but there's all this street activity which is great.
Yes.
And of course, these are the things that first make people think, and sort of work from there. And where we wanted to position the sanctuary specifically was somewhere where people could refer people to, because once they become engaged, how do you then close the deal? What then does it? And we actually find that the one-to-one contact with an animal, the hearing about a horror animal story while you're standing there looking at the animal is a really incredibly effective way to do it. So following whatever on street activity it's gone, we want to be a place where people can take people who are interested, where people can find us and they can come and visit and experience the tours and the stories and all that sort of thing. But of course then we have follow-ups from there. So we have obviously the Facebook groups and so forth that people can join where we do support of people who are looking at their diet and considering what they've learnt at the sanctuary in respect to that. And then of course we also now have our literature set, which outlines some of the stories of some of the animals that we talk about on the tours. But also has some technical information. And we've designed those both for people who are interested and engaged in finding out more about animal issues and perhaps making a lifestyle choice. But they're also there for activists, so people out on the streets, just to provide some basic technical knowledge that's worth knowing. And again, just the power of those stories. We really believe in the power of stories. It's really no secret. If you look at organisations like World Vision, they worked out years ago that you don't talk about 300 million starving kids. You talk about little Pablo.
Oh, brilliant!
Because that's what really engages people.
That's what connects people.
That's what we support is people telling stories and engaging them with that one individual.
That's brilliant. And now I think about it, that is the technique they use. That's brilliant. And I've also noticed that when I've visited Farm Animal Rescue, that was the thing that resonated with me, was the stories about the animals, the background, and it really the impact for me personally was like, wow! I'm like so much. I remember thinking so much effort and that involved in just looking after and rescuing just a single animal. You know, so that really brought home to me how important what you're doing is, and it's just it really cements it, makes that connection. So it's
well, I think it's how important sanctuaries are.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's important, I think, that all different types of groups are actually seeing how they play together to actually deliver the result that we want.
Yes.
Which is, of course, a more compassionate world.
So that's a good point when you say the different groups. So in other words, the different animal sanctuaries, or also maybe the different activism groups, all working together. Yeah. And you were referring to, when you were talking about the somebody's also, Carol's shared the link to the the anniversary gala and ball, which is excellent.
Carol will be there.
Yes. I have a question there from Pratul, who says, how long does it take in your experience for a rescued animal to start trusting humans? And that's a good question.
Oh, it can be never.
It can be never.
It can be never.
I think you've got some goats that maybe fit into that category.
We have one goat in particular that very much fits into that category. He's improved.
Yes. Yeah.
But he's
What's his name? I can't remember his name.
He's Carl.
Carl, is it? Right, okay.
Yeah, so Carl came into us very aggressive.
Yeah.
He no longer chases visitors down the road to attack them, so we consider that a victory. Now he'll only do it if you try to steal his food.
That's understandable.
Or if you're a volunteer. So our volunteers tend to get a bit of a battering from Carl.
Oh man.
And of course this is some of the mistake I think that people can easily fall into.
Yeah.
Which is, so how does a sheep respond to this? Well, sheep are individuals in the same way as we are.
Right.
And one will respond in one way, another will respond in another.
Yeah.
So some of them will suddenly have, a moment where they'll think, oh my God, I love people and I want to be around them all the time.
Right.
Others will always be mortally terrified.
Yes.
And others will just want to lash out whenever they see a human being because things that are being done to them.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what species, the personalities are just.
Does it become obvious fairly quickly with that? Like you rescue an animal and within the first day or two you sort of notice, you think, wow, this one's a bit feisty, or this one's very subdued, or that. Does it become obvious fairly quickly?
Usually as you're bruised on the ground. Look, you have to get a feel fairly quickly, especially with the very large animals, of course.
Yes.
Because there's obviously a very important safety issue there.
There's a big risk in safety there, isn't it?
And I think this is where, quite often as well, we have to be very forceful with visitors. Because we do have, especially with the animals like cattle, our animals have not all come in as baby calves. So lots of them have actually come out of industry. Yeah. And while they are not going to see you at the other end of the paddock and come tearing after you, they frighten very, very easily.
Right. Yeah. So, and this is something because on an open day, you'd have a tour going through, or like maybe was it once an hour, once every half an hour, or something like that.
Look, it depends.
Yeah. Okay. But and so you've got to make sure that people are aware that the animals might react in a certain way that's, not what. It might be unpredictable, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, but one of the things, and Nellie says it here, I think very well. She says, Carol and Brad tell the animal stories in the most magnificent way. Very special human beings. What a lovely thing to say.
Nellie's a very special.
But it's true because it is the stories, as you were saying, the stories that really seal the deal for people.
We believe so.
Yeah. And talking about that, I've heard a few times now of people that have gone along. Say vegans that have taken along their non-vegan friends, and their non-vegan friends, that has sealed the deal when they've seen the animals and they've made the connection. Yeah. It's no longer that piece of meat in the supermarket. This is the living, breathing animal.
That's right. So if ever I'm feeling a little bit down, all I have to do is pop onto Facebook and go through our reviews. And it truly is just, it almost brings you to tears every time because people are pouring out on there, just exactly how they're affected by their experience.
That is fantastic.
And it's just so wild as well to be running an organisation and just to sort of be flitting around and all of a sudden somebody's profile photo pops up with one of our animals. It's really very cool. We really do feel so much of the time just so very appreciated and valued by the people, the society.
It's very encouraging.
It really is a great community part.
Wow. So that's you're getting a beautiful payback in a way, I guess, aren't you, from the people that are appreciating it as well as the animals that are appreciating it I'm sure the animals must get to a point where, you know, a lot of them where they relax and sort of want to snuggle up or whatever because they appreciate that they're in a loving environment.
Either maybe not a bit spoiled, yeah.
Yeah, a bit spoiled. Okay. So a couple of questions have come in there. Sonia says, each animal has their own individual story and deserves that love and respect for their story to be told. They all have their own personalities just like us. Love to you for your devotion to them. Beautifully said, Sonia. And Pratul says, does it help to have an animal like a pet to be at the side of a human while coming in contact with a non-trusting animal? That's an interesting question. So, did you understand?
I might have to read that.
Yeah, okay. Let's just have a read of that one. So what Pratul is saying is, if you have your pet with you and you're coming in contact with an animal that's maybe a little bit wary or something like that, would that help? Do you think if you had experience
if we're talking about a dog or a cat or something like that, that would actually be quite a dangerous thing to do. Yeah, I mean, we've got to remember that for a large number of these animals, dogs would actually be predators,
right?
Especially so anything from sheep, goats, chickens. That would certainly be the case.
Yes.
And cattle, of course, will often react very negatively to a dog.
Yeah.
Yes, we allow our different species to be in the same space and to interact with each other.
Yeah.
Because we are, of course, a completely free-ranging farm. We have no fenced areas. Actually, we have one fenced area, but I'll explain that a little later.
Okay.
So we do allow them to intermix, but we don't encourage, you know, this sort of YouTube stuff that goes on of, you know, look at this pig and this cow who are best friends.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yes, I know what you mean.
Because in our experience, that doesn't come naturally.
Right.
What that comes from is that they've got no other support system.
Right.
So they don't have those of their own species, so therefore they mix with it. Now, there's probably exceptions.
Yes.
Because, as I say, these animals are all individuals.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't involve another species in trying to work through something like that. I think if you know their life experience has been that human beings have been horrible to them and they're scared of us or they don't like us, then that's them and that's where they are. And on open days they can sit over in the back and we'll leave them as they are.
And that's right.
Liking people is not a requirement.
No, that applies to human beings as well. I thought I could go somewhere with that, but Pratul meant the same species. Okay, so Pratul meant if you had a friendly cow and you were approaching one that was a bit skittish, you know, would it make it easier for the to have another cow with you to sort of relax the other cow? Is it?
Yeah. Look, they watch each other.
Yeah.
They watch each other and see how they react.
Yeah.
Of course, we have a couple of Angus in our cattle herd.
Yeah.
One of those is a daughter of another. The daughter really quite likes people.
Right.
So she'll come up for pats and everything.
Yeah.
But to this day, and we're now. They've probably been with us 4.5 years.
Yeah.
To this day, Mum will stand there and she's not happy. Even though, you know, we've nursed this calf since she was very little, she had nothing but love and attention. Yeah. But Mum still says, I don't care, I don't trust them.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah. I mean, that's obviously. I mean, the purpose is to provide a safe haven for them. They don't, as you say, they don't have to like humans. They just, you know, So I understand that. That's fair enough. So, was there, if we go right back to the beginning, was there just one animal that started it all? Did it all start on a stormy night? Or?
Well, look, as I say, we did it purpose built.
Yes.
So we came to Australia and we looked for a property that would be close to a city.
Okay.
So that we could, you know, work this outreach and advocacy. Near a city with a high volume of tourist traffic, of course, as well, was desirable.
Yes.
Which is, of course, why we ended up just outside of Brisbane there.
Yes.
So that was all intentional. Our first residents, though, were our first resident was a rooster.
Okay.
But he came in and he was very sad. He wouldn't come out of his coop and he wouldn't even drink anything.
Wow.
And so we looked into his history a little bit and we found out that he'd grown up with a duck. So we brought the duck over to Sanctuary, and he immediately became happy again. And now they do everything together. He's still very interested in the chicken ladies, but they are absolute best friends. So at night she sits in her point, Yeah, and he's got a stick that he sits on over the top of the pond so he can be nearer.
Oh, I love it. That is beautiful. I think I've seen them too. I'm pretty sure.
Bubble and Squeak.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Bubble and Squeak. Yes, that's it.
I didn't do that name, just by the way.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one, that one. Matt says, "G'day, Mr. Harry and Brad." That's Matt Sipple. He says, "Brad, thank you so much for what you do. I love far."
Well, let me tell you, Matt does lots of things for us as well. So straight back at you, Matt.
Yeah. And Lindsay said bubble with a question mark, and yes, Lindsay had it. But Pratul actually also says, goes to show you just how emotional the animals are, which is obviously correct.
Oh, look, incredibly. I probably don't have time to go into a lot of the stories tonight. But go onto our website and we can do it. You know, especially the thing that always breaks me up, of course, is the mothers in the cattle herd. We've unfortunately had some tragedies because so many of the animals, of course, we bring in are so incredibly sick.
Yes.
We've had some mother-child tragedies. Mother-child tragedies.
Mother-child, yeah.
And to watch them go through that and to try to process it is just heartbreaking. It really is.
How do you handle that? I mean, do you try not to get too attached, or?
Look, it's important. I mean, when an animal's on their way out.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, we and our volunteers are with them a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you're hoping for the best possible outcome for that animal.
Yeah.
So it's always a horrifying and torturing experience.
Yeah.
It really is. But you know what? Once you end up going through that, I think there's two things. One is that an animal dying is actually part of rescue. Because at the end of the day, they're all going to die before we do, because none of them live for 80 years.
That's a point.
And what we have to be really good at is managing that. So the way that we look at things is that, you know, what we might want to consider a natural death is probably a failure on the part of a sanctuary, because we don't want our animals in pain. So we try to teach ourselves when is the right time to start looking at things like euthanasia, because we want them to have the best, longest life possible, but we don't want them to suffer. So you start to learn to look at it this way, and we start to look at it, you know, on the basis of how good a death did we give them, because this is just simply a part of it. You know, anybody who rescues dogs or cats, whatever they do, there's always going to be death is going to be part of that. And we are responsible for making sure that's as good as it can. I just want to go back to what I was saying about natural death, though, because I know that sometimes people have an issue with this with sanctuaries. The problem is when we're talking about farm animals, is these are not natural animals. These are animals whose genetics have been fudded around with, really quite disgustingly. So there is nothing natural about these creatures, and a natural death for these creatures is usually horrifyingly painful and terrifying, and just an incredibly unpleasant thing. And we certainly believe that as their guardians, we need to make sure that they're not experiencing the worst of that.
Yes. Yeah. So what can you do in a situation like that? For instance, I'm just thinking about chickens that have been bred to grow very rapidly. And then I think what happens, they grow so rapidly they can't support their own weight or something. Is that right? Their bones or something?
Oh, look, there's lots of things that happens with the broiler chickens. Probably the most horrifying is, of course, no doubt, when people have been out with their meat-eating friends, they'll know that everybody likes the breasts. Everyone wants to like breast meat. So what the broiler industry has done is they've gone around genetically designing their hens to have huge breasts, because that's what everybody wants. What happens though is once they get to about 6 months of age, is their breast starts to grow into their lung cavity. Which then of course restricts the lungs being able to expand properly. Which means ultimately they suffocate because their lungs simply can't. Because they're already trying to deal with these huge bodies, and the fact they have to pump, blood around these huge bodies. But then once their breathing starts to become inhibited as well, and this will generally happen to, if they live long enough, this will generally happen to about 70% of them. Is that they'll have this lung cavity issue. So again, this is not a natural death. Letting them slowly suffocate is not a natural death. So once there is no way, we can help them. Once they are in distress and they're scared, then that's the time to let them go.
It's It's just thinking about that whole way that they've been genetically modified or whatever. you know, to be that it's I just think it's evil. It's pretty the whole.
Well, and look, and we get quite upset when people focus on confinement systems, really, because you know there's all the is it cage or is it free range or is it is it cageless or what is it, all that sort of thing. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, frankly, who cares? This animal is struggling to breathe because its breast is growing into its lung cavity. Yeah. You know, nothing else matters. The fact that we brought that animal into the world in the first place is where it all went wrong. Yes. And that's where we need to deal with it.
Yes, definitely. Spot on. There's a couple of questions come up there. Oh, well, actually, let's a very practical question. Dana asks, where is the farm and is it open to the public?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not good to have an in-joke, is it?
No. Nobody else knows it. No.
The farm's in Dayboro, which is 45 minutes northwest of Brisbane. We have been operating what we now call farm tours every 2 weeks. So this is a 90-minute tour where we take groups, fairly small groups, through and we tell the stories of the animals and we talk about some of the sort of technical detail that we've been discussing. That's what we've been doing there. Okay. Of course, we do have other things going on at the moment in terms of the way that we're developing. Okay. So, so what that schedule looks like going forward, I'm not quite so sure. Okay. But yes, certainly up until now, twice a month.
That may actually, I might segue into something there that I was reading on the Animal Justice Party page, because Hugh has asked a question which probably ties in with that, and Hugh asked, do we know what's happening with the Queensland government nonsense about the road? Now, Hugh, I was actually reading something, I've got it up here just to refresh my memory, but basically, if you go to the Animal Justice Party page, you will see that they've actually posted last night, I think it was. I'm not going to read the whole thing out, but basically they've what they've said is what it is the government a little while back, maybe a few months ago, said that they were going to review the demand that they'd made on farm animal rescue. They demanded that farm animal rescue pay a $300,000 road widening bill, basically. So the government, under pressure, was going to review that, and basically, Animal Justice Party has said last night what is happening. They haven't heard anything further, so they're calling on the Minister for Planning, Jackie Trad, to basically, why is the government coming down so hard on an animal sanctuary? I'm just reading some of the points here without going into the whole thing here, and so what I just wanted to see, so nothing more has been said from the government in the last few months, and I just wondered, is there anything you could comment on there about that? Is there any light we could shed on that, or any thoughts on that?
Look, it was interesting to see that posting come in last night, and you know, we're certainly aware that people are becoming quite anxious about what the outcome of this may be.
There definitely was a big, a lot of people anxious about it. Yes.
Yeah. I'll look, and again, you know, just in terms of love and support from the community, we've just been overwhelmed. 41,000 signatures on the petition that we did. Wow. You know, we had 40 people turn up to the petition delivery outside number 1 Edward Street.
Fantastic.
So, you know, the support we've had has just been, again, overwhelming and brings us to tears.
That is awesome.
Not quite so much as the highway issue brings us to tears. But you know what I mean. So, look, and I completely understand that why the Animal Justice Party would be running out of patience with it. And I understand that. Look, we've certainly had some constructive discussions. You know, what people did certainly got us to be heard. So, you know, I personally met with the Minister for Main Roads, and we talked about it. So, you know, there has certainly been something turning and something happening. I think, you know, the reason that AJP had chosen to post that at this point in time is apparently they've come across some documents relating to what is truly an animal-based tourist attraction, actually in the same shire as we are. And that particular facility has monthly tours of their farm where they invite 500 people. Wow. Which works out as something like about 160 vehicles.
Wow.
This, of course, is compared to what is generally our 8 vehicles a day. 8 vehicles a week.
A week,
rather, for us.
That's a bit of
so we're around about 1 a day.
Yeah. Okay.
Is where we are. But I think what really got upset them on our behalf is that this for-profit animal-based, I don't know, zoo, farm, whatever you want to call it. The response they've had from the Department of Main Roads was that they had no requirement of them when their volumes are so much more.
So they have a much higher volume of traffic.
Yeah. So look, I completely understand AJ's point.
Yeah.
And I get that that's an issue. And I was surprised to see that because I was hopeful that we were being treated. Generally fairly. It
does seem a bit, just reading their post, if anyone wants to read it, go to the Animal Justice Party page and have a read of it, because it's a little bit too long to sort of read now, but basically, yes, it does, what you say there, it does seem a bit...
And look, I'm sure government have their reasons as to why this applies to us and that applies to them. But I think that what we tend to do, and I'm sure what AJP are doing, is saying, well, if you look at this from a moral perspective, though, is even if the law is written in a particular way, is this actually a morally accurate thing to do? So look, I completely understand what's going on there. I mean, as far as where things are, I'm just simply not at liberty to talk about the detail.
And that's fine.
Of where things have been.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I think AJP are expressing something that a lot of people are feeling, which is that I know people got letters back from government saying that they would be in touch and they would let them know what was going to happen.
And again,
I understand that hasn't happened.
Right.
So
okay.
I understand where that frustration is.
Yeah.
I think some of the things they're recommending to people to do are not necessarily inappropriate.
Okay.
As I say, we are continuing to talk to government. We're trying to do what we can.
Yep.
But I think people have to look at it from their perspective and decide what they want to do as an individual.
And that's fine. I think you've said what you can say on that. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. But yes, if you want to know more information about that, just have a look at the Animal Justice Party Queensland's page at their post there, and then maybe follow it through on there. So going back to, so we sort of, we'll go back to where we were with the, actually Hugh did continue on there. He said, so Brad, do you think that we should keep emailing our MPs and applying pressure? Is that something you can comment on, or?
Look,
it's really up to the person, isn't it?
I certainly wouldn't be here asking people to do this on our behalf. Having said that, I think that it's not all about us. People obviously value what we do, and they value the opportunity to be able to come and visit and to see our work. So if, as an individual, somebody is feeling particularly aggrieved at the fact that we're uncertain as to what the future might be, then I think you should always talk to your member of Parliament about those sorts of things.
And I mean, 41,000 people signed the petition. I think you were saying 41, was it?
Yeah, 41,000.
So there was 41,000 people that wanted to say something, wasn't it? So yes, so I think the advice there is definitely, you have to do what you think is the right thing to do, but it's obvious that a lot of people feel very strongly about this.
And look, as animal advocates, of course, this is something again that we should all be doing.
Yes.
Because I've got to tell you, if you're not making a big noise with government, they don't know that you're there.
Yes.
Yeah? Now, I don't. Government are not going to be what's going to make a vegan world. Okay, it's not going to be government. It's always the people.
Yes.
Because government follows people, but you've got to let government know what the people want. So we should always be noisy. They should know all of our names. They should be hearing from us all the time. They should be a literal pain in their ass. Because that's how we're going to get what we want. Yeah.
Well, that's really well said. So be noisy, folks. Be noisy, and let your local member and whoever else relevant in government, let them know. Hugh's given a big thumbs up. Let them know how you feel, because if you feel that there's an unfair treatment or an unfair demand or request from the government towards farm animal rescue, then, and obviously a lot of people have felt that way with over 40,000 people signing the petition, then keep the pressure up. And that's Harry's advice. That's Harry's top tip. keep
the pressure up.
Keep the pressure up because in this birthday week. No, but keep the pressure up because once it drops off, then the government just you don't make any noise, you don't get noticed. So that's what it is. And
it's not unreasonable. These guys are actually incredibly busy. They have stuff coming up in the private centre. Exactly. But we have to remember that animal agriculture industry, the mining industries, whatever they are, have paid staff who are just there to batter and batter and batter these guys.
And that's a good.
And we've got to take our time to batter them back.
Exactly.
Or we don't get hurt.
Exactly. Yeah, they keep the pressure up.
Yep.
Yeah. They've got people full time doing it.
That's right.
Yeah. We've just got volunteers or whatever, but coming from the right place, coming from the heart.
Exactly.
So you've got to keep the pressure up, guys. So Sonia says, I'm sure you must get attached and upset to the animals. It is so sad the pain humans inflict on animals. Poor chickens. I'm crying listening to you explain what happens to them. And yes, I've felt that very strongly when you're talking about what's the way that chickens have been. Is it engineered? What's the term? Modified or genetically designed, whatever. It's very Frankenstein sort of thing, or whatever.
They're Franken animals.
Franken animals. It's just You wonder if the people that do these things, do they have any heart at all? It's just. I can tell you don't even have to answer that. You think like I do on that one. It's two Liberals thinking alike.
Look, possibly not. Obviously we're in a rural community, and of course, certainly when it comes to farmers, we have a number of those around. A number of those are right on our borders.
Right.
And I'm still yet to meet one that's not a nice person.
So this is interesting. This is something.
These tend to be, quite nice people. They value relationships with other people.
Okay.
We confuse a lot of them. A lot of them just don't even understand what we're all about.
Okay. This is interesting.
That.
Yeah.
But you see, this is an important thing for us to understand.
Yeah.
Is that they really don't understand the way that we look at animals and the way that we perceive. That what they see as something they've done their whole lives is such an evil thing.
Yes.
So it's and what we need to remember is we're not fighting people and we're not fighting cruelty when it comes to consumers. We're fighting culture.
Good.
So this is an ingrained thing that people have done their whole lives.
Yes.
And now, 50 years down the line,
all
of a sudden where they're saying, what you're doing is horrible.
It's horrible and wrong.
I've always done that and I like doing that. And you come along and you suddenly tell me, the first person ever, that what I'm doing isn't the right thing.
So it's a lifelong...
We've got to be where we're fighting culture, and that's what we're actually going
a lifelong conditioning. And they just think it's normal.
Exactly.
They think it's right. It's really, it fascinates me to hear you say that because... it sort of flows in a little bit maybe with the way that James Aspey also approaches it, that he's not picking on the people, he's understanding the whole from a wider perspective. So you've met your neighbours, your farming neighbours, and you found them to be nice people. That just happen to have been conditioned so strongly that they think what they're doing is normal. So
And of course, they think they're making compassionate decisions about things as well.
Because the animal died a quick death or something like that, maybe.
They're distressed when a calf dies.
Yes.
They don't want that to happen to the calf. They have a belief in the systems. They have a belief that slaughter is actually humane. Of course, we know the reality of that. But let's remember how the system is set up. Unless you are a huge processor, you never take your animals to a slaughterhouse. The way the system is set up is all the smaller producers take their animals to a sale yard. And at the sale yard, I don't know what's going to happen. Somebody might buy them as a pet. A slaughterhouse may buy them. They might go off to be, to create new stock.
What is the chance that somebody's going to buy them as a pet? It's just about zero, isn't it?
It's very close to zero. However, if I'm the small producer, I'm just taking them to the sale yard. What happens to them then is what happens to them.
Right.
So the whole thing has kind of been set up to keep them remote from that. Of course, and I mean you've seen the comments online. They don't believe our videos. They don't believe what we show them to be there because, again, culturally they believe in humane slaughter. They've always been told that. Lots of these people grew up in farms because their parents were farmers.
Yeah.
And of course they were educated from a very early age that it's very important these animals are farmed, and that of course they're taken off and they have this nice lovely death that they're not even familiar with. And us showing them a video doesn't take that away.
Right.
Because it's we're going to get cognitive dissonance and all this.
No, but this is good. This is interesting.
But we have to remember that people are not being horrible because they're horrible people.
Yeah.
They're being horrible because we are outside their sphere of understanding.
Yes.
And we may not be approaching the discussion with them in the right way to actually get within that sphere of understanding.
Yes, and because this brings up a thing where sadly vegans sometimes really get into a state of hating a lot of the world, a lot of the people in it, because of this disconnect that they have, and that they're treating animals in a way that we think they shouldn't be treated in, right? So it's not healthy for anyone to hang on to that for too long, because you end up with such an awful feeling inside that you can't do much good for yourself or anyone else. So it's much better. What you're talking about is it's a much more rational way to think, to understand that this person is inherently underneath it all a good person who has been conditioned to think and act a certain way. Yeah. And if they've grown up on a farm and they're from a very young age, they're probably believing that the animals had a good life.
Yes.
And there's a humane death, and that's okay, because Dad said it was okay when I was a kid. That was the way I was shown things, That's my normality.
Yeah, that's right.
And as you say, you come on. So how do we change? Can you change somebody like that? Have you noticed in your interactions or meeting some of your farmer neighbours and that, they don't you said earlier, they don't understand what you're doing because it's so foreign to them. Do you think there's any chance that they would expand their view?
Well, see, this is where it hard, isn't it? Because if I knew the formula, then Australia would be vegan.
Yes.
And the truth is, it comes a little bit back to what we were talking about with the animals, of course. Yeah. Everybody is an individual. Everybody has different ways of looking at the world. Everybody has different triggers. Yeah. But I think the one thing that we can say for certain is that coming to someone from a place of understanding, from a place of compassion, is always going to be more effective than coming at them from a different direction. Yeah. I think the more animal advocates that we can have who understand basic human psychology, who take the time to learn about influencing behaviors and all that sort of thing. Yeah. I think the better. I do not have the answers. I definitely don't. We obviously have our approach, which is to tell stories. Yeah. That way we think it's powerful. Yeah. It's not going to be the trigger with everybody though. So for this reason, because I was talking about all the groups before, we are complete believers in a big tent. So we love everything from the really radical to the really conservative to the hippie movement to the straight edge punks. It's all great because it's all triggering different parts of society. The only thing that we've got to get right is we've got to be able to work together. Is that we've got to drop the angst, because I tell you what, every time we attack each other, because I attack you all the time, every time we attack each other, the meat industry sits there and smiles. Yeah. That's the truth of it.
Yeah, definitely. And I've sadly recently seen that in some comments from basically meat eaters commenting on vegan infighting, I guess you could say. I've observed it and thought, yes, okay, they've noticed it and they're commenting on it. So that is sad, when that happens. Personally, how do you feel about? I love what you said about we've got to approach people with some basic psychological understanding of what works. I love what you've said about approaching them with compassion, which is exactly right. How do you feel about activists that go in? I mean, you said you think a big tent approach is great, have everybody included. How do you personally feel about sort of approaching people very hard on and going, what you're doing is wrong? Do you actually think there is an area where that would work, or is that just going to get people's backs up most of the time? I mean, that's how I see it. I just wondered what you. personally felt about that?
It doesn't really matter what I think, because those people are out there making noise. They're keeping the subject out there.
Yep.
They're keeping the whole thing alive.
What if it's backfiring? What if it's got the meat eaters going, right, they're trying to tell me what to do, and they're just more firmly resolved to not go that way?
But isn't that still a reaction?
It's a reaction, but it may not be the reaction you want.
It's still a conversation. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, we'll be doing a tour at the sanctuary.
Yeah.
And somebody, standing, will tell one of the really sad stories about one of the Angus cattle.
Yes.
And, a guy who's been dragged along by his girlfriend, quite often is, will crack a joke about tasty or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah? Now, if you take that, you can say, what a dick.
Yeah.
But actually, it's a reaction. He's not saying that because he hasn't been affected. He's saying that because he has, and his defense is, of course, to make a joke of it. Right. So anytime you're getting a reaction, you're getting something. But you know what as well, even if I don't believe that's the way to do it, you and me sitting here talking about it, saying that's not the way to do it, is not going to change. Those people are still going to do it. So let's accept them as part of our big world. I was
that's good.
I remember back to when I was living in England, and of course it was when all the lesbian and gay liberation stuff was going on. And all of this sort of thing. And the mantra over there was never going underground. Because all everybody wanted to do with that movement was shut it up and shut it down and stop them making noise and saying, just go back into your holes and just and of course that's what you don't do. But I also remember from that movement as well that when the drag queens and the transvestites used to get out there, there were all these conservative little people in the gay and lesbian movement who were saying, look at the damage they're doing to our movement, they're too extreme, and all this sort of thing. And yet look at our society now. You've got primetime TV with drag queens on it. Look what happens with the Mardi Gras in Sydney and everything. And they've actually become a big part of it. So you know what? It doesn't matter what I think. What I think is if you're out there doing something, then ultimately that creates the big picture. I think the people that we have to try to encourage to act differently are those who aren't doing anything. Right.
And okay, so do you see a lot of that? Like a lot of people who become vegan that are just that's it. They become vegan. They have. I mean, that is doing something, though, isn't it?
It's awesome on its own, isn't it? It's awesome on its own.
Yeah, it is.
But there are certainly ways that all of us can do a little bit more. I understand that some people feel a bit self-conscious about discussing these types of things. And I get that. But we can start reading books that might help us to overcome that.
True.
But I think at the end of the day, everybody who is advocating for animals is going to have some return over a lifetime to that. And I think it's very sad for someone to just say, I'm going to be vegan because that's important to me, but I don't want to be part of this advocacy stuff, because you can have so much incredible impact just with one or two discussions. And really it's, two people sitting down and just chatting about stuff can be incredibly effective. So I'm not saying you've got to go out there and protest or have a video stream or anything like that. But I'm saying,
but maybe talk to your neighbour or something.
Take opportunities, and just be there and stand up and be proud of who you are and proud of your perspective and the decision that you've made. And just know how to talk about that from a position of. The way I like to talk about it is, show people your light, because vegans tend to be very centered, very happy, very healthy people. So show people that.
Excellent. Set a good example.
Exactly.
Yeah. Excellent.
And just don't be embarrassed of the choices that we've made.
Yeah. That's fantastic. That's good advice. We're getting lots of good advice tonight. I'm loving it.
I just want to say, I don't have all the answers.
Well, you certainly
I have lots of opinions.
You've certainly got a lot. I think you've got a lot of the answers tonight. It's fantastic. I wanted to just head off in a slight different direction there and ask you, now you have people that volunteer, obviously, to help out on the farm. Now, anyone watching, if they wanted to, Sonia said Brad needs to be closer to the mic. Oh, okay, maybe if you want to move forward a little bit. I'm sure he's not that quiet. So what's involved in can we talk about what's involved in volunteering on the farm if somebody wants to help out? And because there's obviously you've got 50 is it 50 acres? 55 acres?
55 acres.
55 acres. It's a lot of ground.
Yep.
And how many animals there?
We're currently running 71.
Okay.
Right now.
And it's a lot of feeding and caring for and all the rest and that. So
yeah.
So if somebody wants to help out, are they able to do so? What's involved there?
Yeah. This can of course be. Many people make assumptions that the sanctuaries are all about the direct animal care.
Right.
In actual fact, our animal care team are one of our smallest teams.
Right.
So our largest team by a mile is our fundraising team.
Okay.
Because as I say, all of the animals that come in are. Am I still not loud enough?
No, but what I'm loving is Carol has put up a link to volunteers off your website,
right.
off the farm animal website, and she previously put a link to broiler chickens. So that's excellent, Carol.
Right.
So
by a mile, our fundraising team is our most important.
Okay.
Because we do not want to be in a position where we have to make a financial decision on the basis of whether an animal lives or dies.
Yeah.
We want to be there. We also want to make sure that once we welcome an animal into the sanctuary and we've guaranteed them a home, that it is a real guarantee. We don't want to be in here in 5 years saying we've screwed up the finances, we can't look after you all anymore, so we're going to try and ship you back to whoever else. Yeah. That's never going to happen. In fact, one of the first things that our committee did once we set it up was to find a way to ensure the sanctuary can operate when I get hit by a bus.
Excellent.
Because what we're all about is making commitments to these animals and making a commitment to our supporters that we'll always be here to care for these animals and advocate on their behalf. Our second largest team, of course, is our advocacy unit. So they're the pay-per-view people, they're the tour guides, they're the open day staff and all this sort of thing.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have the animal care team.
Right.
Now the animal care team are primarily live-in staff because they do work dawn till dusk. So we provide accommodation on the property for them. It is a 1 month minimum stay.
Okay.
And we are always booked up well in advance. So at the moment, I think we have one space in January. It would be our next one.
That's good.
So it's a very, very popular program. It's popular with overseas students. It's popular with a lot of vet nurses and trainee vets.
Yes.
So popular for all those reasons. It is a great program. It's great to be part of. It's great to understand exactly what's involved in caring for these animals.
Yeah.
It's a lot more difficult than what people generally think.
I would imagine it would be.
Yeah. But please, if you don't have the month, then that's not a problem. We can use you in fundraising. We can use you in advocacy.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's never been for us about the 71 animals that we currently have on the farm. It's always been about the 71 million that are out there that we can't rescue.
Right.
That's always our focus.
Yes.
And this is where, without the fundraising teams, we don't have the literature to give to people. We don't have the facilities that we need to have visitors on the farm. So without the advocacy people, of course, they're not driving people into us so we can talk about the stories.
So if somebody's interested in helping out, that's more the areas that would...
We have all these different areas. As I say, animal care is great, and we love having people come in there. But it's a serious commitment because we're not going to have people wandering for 3 hours and do many procedures on animals and leave again. There's a lot of training involved, and it is dawn to dusk. So all I'm saying is if that doesn't suit people, then there are these other options where what we're looking at with fundraising is usually 1 day a month.
Right.
For example. So there's a lot less.
So if somebody wants to help
very,
you,
very important role.
If somebody wants to help you in that area, do they do it through that volunteers page link that was there?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. So if anybody wants to help out, there's the link there in the comments for going to the website, Farm Animal Rescue website, volunteers, and then they can just fill in their details or whatever, and it just goes from there. Okay.
And of course, we love people with skills as well.
Yep. Right.
So if you're skilled at marketing, web design, finance, administration, if you like typing emails, because at the end of the day, we have an organisation here. We have offices. We have all this stuff that we're doing. We have an accounts function. Because we have to be on top of these things. We have to know that we can feed the animals next month and the month after.
There's a lot behind the scenes.
There is.
Wow. Brian had a very nice comment there, which unfortunately disappeared before I could get to it. Sorry, Brian. But he said hello, and he said the internship, I caught a bit of it. He said the internship was really good. Yana asks, how do you fundraise? And I think you've discussed that a bit.
We do everything. So of course the 5th-year ball that we're having,
that's
the
right.
auctions and everything. There's that.
That's right.
There's
the
trivia nights,
cupcakes for
markets.
Yeah.
Of course, we have the sponsorship program. I will mention the Supporters Club.
Yes.
So Supporters Club is a club that we've got set up.
Yeah.
It's basically $10 a month, which we automatically debit from your account. That gives you benefits and concessions at some places, but of course, most importantly, it gives us a consistency of donation coming in, so that we can plan better. Because we sit down before we rescue any animal. We sit down, we look at the finance, we look at what we know is going to come in, and as I say, we never take on an animal unless we know without doubt that for the next 20 years
that you
we
can
give
look
that
after
animal all of the care, all of the medical support that it needs. So that sort of program is incredibly important because it gives us that stability.
The Supporters Club, Carol's just put a link up for it. I joined the Supporters Club last year, I think it was. So it's I highly recommend. That's a really easy way to be showing some support. So the a lot of
I love the hearts.
Yeah, well, Josephine says I love you both. She's putting lots of wonderful comments up there. So good on you. Now what you said there is interesting, that before you take on the responsibility of an animal, you actually plan. This is really good. There's a lot of behind the scenes strategy. A lot of planning. So how much time do you have to be able to do that? Because is it some cases where an animal needs to be rescued urgently, and you'd have to sort of go, oh, quick, we've got to work out, can we do this? Can we finance this or whatever? Can we, do you have the time to do it?
Look, there certainly has been.
Yeah.
And of course, we will sometimes make a decision that we have the availability to take on animals and not do an immediate rescue.
Right.
Because we're leaving a space open in case we get into that sort of situation.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's not forget, though, that every case is urgent. Right now, in 7 slaughterhouses around Brisbane, there are animals going to their death. These are all urgent cases. These are all potential rescues. So when we see sometimes that someone can't keep their pig anymore, and we all get very emotional about it. It's horrible. It really is.
Yeah.
And we're big believers when you make a commitment and take on an animal, that you should find a way to ensure that you can look after that animal for life before you do that. Getting away from that a little. At the end of the day, there is no shortage of animals for us to rescue.
Yeah.
If we wanted to, we could have 100 more animals on the property tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because there are literally that many in need. We get anywhere between 25 and 35 direct email requests to take animals every week.
Wow.
And of course, we can never take on any of that. And again, that's ignoring all the animals sitting in slaughterhouse yards right now.
Yeah.
That.
And you said there's 7 slaughterhouses around Brisbane.
Yep.
Wow. It doesn't even bear thinking about.
It's huge and it's enormous.
Yeah.
But this is why we're a sanctuary-based animal advocacy organisation.
Yep.
Because it's about the hearts and minds that we change. It's always going to have far more impact. Than anybody else. We love it when people say they appreciate what we do, and that they appreciate what we do at the sanctuary.
Yes.
And they appreciate that we've rescued the animals and everything.
Yeah.
But the truth is that anybody can have the sort of impact that we do, because making a vegan is basically going to rescue as many animals as we've probably rescued in 3 years.
Comment of the night. That. Brilliant. I love it. That is really good.
But anybody can do that, and of course then you have sanctuaries as a resources to help you do it.
Yeah.
So all we need people to do is to bring people to the sanctuaries so that we can finish off the work for them.
Yeah.
And that's why sanctuaries are important.
Wow. That's really, you've said it beautifully there. But I also want to ask, I'm going to have to start winding up shortly, but I also want to ask, so you get 25 to 35 email requests a week.
Yep.
From people wanting animals to be rescued, and did I hear you correctly? Did you say, and you can't take them on?
We almost never take them on. Yeah.
So what animals do you take on? Where if you're going to take on animals, where do they come from then?
Yeah. So look, the animals that we will take are ones that, and it sounds callous, but do you know what? We have to make a decision somehow. So the animals that we will take are ones that have effective stories that we can use to advocate for all animals of that species.
Right. Okay.
And you know, it's horrifying, and it's a horrible thing that we have to do.
Yes.
And every time we have to turn around and say no, our hearts die a little bit more.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you know, we have to stay true to our greater purpose, which is the compassionate world. Unfortunately, is more important than the individual animal in need.
Yeah.
We would love to rescue them all, but we simply can't.
Yes, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the needs of the one.
Yeah, look, it's you know, we have to keep our eyes on the big picture. You know, we could easily be a sanctuary with 600 animals that were struggling financially. That was doing no advocacy because we were always busy with that. But then we're not doing our job. Our job is to change the way that our society looks at animals.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing. Your approach is very clever, what you're doing there, to do that. I think that's get people to the sanctuary, let them hear the stories, and then let them become the expanding force to do the work as well. Yeah.
And of course, and I know by saying you that you mean specifically me, but I just want to make the point as well that the way that we work and what we've done has been a combination of, you know, a wonderful team of people that I have at the committee level who are running the organisation, and the volunteers that we've had, because every volunteer that we've had come and help us do whatever it is have all influenced the way that we work and the way that we do things, and they've all fundamentally changed us for the better. So, you know, this approach is not my approach. This is an approach that we've come to with an amazing team of people who care so very deeply about you know, this cause.
Fantastic. I've got to say you've enlightened me. and I think you've enlightened a lot of people watching tonight. A lot of comments come in there from Josephine. I'm sorry you put so many comments in there towards the end. I couldn't even respond to them, Josephine. I'll have a look at them. Yes, we'll get to them after I finish the live stream. Brian also says, aiming for a vegan world as soon as yesterday. And Melissa says, hi Harry and Brad, love Farm Animal Rescue and all that you do. Okay, so I'm going to have to start winding up. I'm going to say thank you very much, sir.
Thanks. I'm so pleased we could do this finally.
Yes, finally we can do this. This is great. Thank you very much for coming on and for just educating myself and the people watching as to the extent of what Farm Animal Rescue is doing. It's far more than I realised, and it has the vision of FAR is far bigger than I realised. It's quite clever. So I'm very impressed. So what I want to say, guys, also is that the live stream, you can still comment on this live stream after it's finished. You can still comment, and I will notice the comments come up and they can be responded to. And also the YouTube version of tonight's episode should hopefully be on within a few days on my YouTube channel, and also be shared to this Facebook page as well. So next week will be episode 35, and I'm not even sure who my guest is because I'm juggling them around at the moment, even though I plan a month in advance. So, but anyway, I just want to say a big shout out to my sponsors, Vegan Frothers and Burleytown Storage, and get along and to the Froth Fest this Sunday and support charities, and we want to make it clear that the charities, the animal rescue organisations like to work together. That's a point that we didn't really sort of touch on, but we just want to make it clear that they're not competing against each other. That it's all working for the same good and the same goal, and that, isn't it? And did I say that well enough?
Oh look, absolutely. You know, this is what I'm saying. The value is sanctuaries. And the value is sanctuaries making it possible for people to bring friends and learn more about these creatures and understand more about these creatures. And of course, throughout the entire country now, there's quite an effective network of sanctuaries. And we all work together. We talk to each other for advice and all of that sort of thing. And all we want is for people to use us. Yeah, excellent. So there you go, guys. Support Farm Animal Rescue, and thank you very much for your comments. There's been a lot of lovely comments and questions in that tonight. Live vegan and save lives. And thank you again, Brad. And thanks so much, Harry. I will see you guys next week. Good night, everyone.